Hello everybody, welcome to my channel today. If you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Justine. I live on the west coast of Canada and I'm in my late 40s now, and I film YouTube videos a couple of times a week, beauty, lifestyle, reviews, hauls, subscription boxes, all that kind of stuff. So if that's something that interests you, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you stay up to date with all my latest videos. So today what I am doing is I am sharing with you something that I bought at the Sephora VIB sale. Sorry, my nose is itchy. My nose always gets itchy when I'm filming. I bought this Tom Ford eye quad and it is in a Cocoa Mirage. Now this has been on my wish list for eons and so many YouTubers recommended it, my subscribers recommended it, so I finally took the plunge. I actually won a $100 Sephora gift certificate from Marnie Goldberg, and I used the money to purchase this palette because it was a bit of a splurge. So when I had mentioned that it was on my wish list, I also had mentioned to you guys that I had heard it was kind of similar to a palette I already owned, which is the Charlotte Tilbury quad called Dolce Vita. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, Charlotte Tilbury used to actually be the creator of Tom Ford's makeup. I don't really know what her title was, but she did a lot of the development for his eye quad. So I think there's a lot of similarities between the two because she put a lot of her philosophies and makeup artistry into his products, and then she launched her own line and of course used the same philosophies. So I had heard that they were quite similar, so that's why I was kind of on the fence if I should buy the Cocoa Mirage in case they were so close. So a couple of my subscribers had said, nope, they're totally different. The Cocoa Mirage is totally matte. But then once I bought it, some people also started asking me questions. Would you please do a comparison? So I thought, you know what? I own both of them, so why don't I show you guys both? And here they are. Now what I'm going to do, so bear with me, is I am going to do some new camera work and I'm going to try and film swatches and comparisons and insert them. So it's new camera work for me, so bear with me because I find when I do swatches just right in front of you guys, they don't show up as nicely. So please bear with me on that. And I did a makeup look on both of my eyes. One of them is the Charlotte Tilbury and one of them is the Tom Ford. So you can see for yourself. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. I think I used a makeup brush and it's tickling me now. So as you can see, they're kind of similar, but there are some differences, and then you can see me actually applying them and see them in action. I also want to add at the end, I did put on a lipstick with you guys, but I ended up toning it down with this Marc Jacobs Cream and Sugar lip gloss. It was just a little bit dark. So if you're wondering why my lips are a little bit different than at the end of the video, that's why. So I'll just quickly show you guys on here how these look. The Tom Ford is completely matte, and the Charlotte Tilbury does have a bit of a sheen to it, and it does have that bright gold pop shade. Now you don't have to use the gold pop. I did use it today just for the sake of using all the products in the video, but I think if I hadn't used the pop, they would look even more similar on the eyes, but there are some subtle differences that I will get into in the video. So now I'm going to insert my video of the swatches, hopefully that it works, and then I will do a little tutorial on these eyes. So if you're interested, just keep watching. So here is the Tom Ford close up and the Charlotte Tilbury close up. And then side by side. And then I'm going to swatch the colors that are somewhat similar. So the vanilla color, all over lid color on the Tom Ford. And here is the prime color from the Charlotte Tilbury. So this has a bit more of a pinky champagne hue, and the other one is just a bone white vanilla. Now there isn't a transition color in the Charlotte Tilbury, but this is the Cocoa transition color from the Charlotte Tilbury, from the Tom Ford, and I'm just going to compare it with the pop color from the Charlotte Tilbury. They're totally different, but those are the two different colors that come in each palette. They both have a burgundy plum. This is the matte Tom Ford. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury. The Tom Ford is completely matte. The Charlotte Tilbury has a sheen, but they are very similar in color. This one is more red. The Charlotte Tilbury, this is a more brown cocoa. And lastly, the brown in the Tom Ford and the brown in the Charlotte Tilbury. Also very, very similar. The Charlotte Tilbury has a little bit of a sheen. Okay, so I've zoomed you up a little bit. I've already primed my eyes. Where did I put it? With my new Fenty eyelid primer. I'm enjoying it. It is a little bit tacky, so it kind of grabs your brush, but it does blend out still, so it's not like it makes it all patchy, and it does definitely make my makeup last longer. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it, and I like the little applicator. So I'm going to do a Cocoa Mirage on this eye, and sorry Charlotte Tilbury, you're getting my bum eye. If you're new to my channel, I'm blind in this eye. As you can see, they're totally different. One's smaller. Long story, I'll put the video down below of how I was blind in my eye and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested. Anyway, so let's get started. So I am going to, sorry, I should dump those out. I'm going to start off with the lightest shade and put that all over my lid. And I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics brush. And I'm just going to kind of prime my eyes with this one. And then with the Charlotte Tilbury on my other eye, I'm going to do the same thing with that light prime shade as well. And this one kind of has a bit more pink to it, and it has a little bit of a satiny sheen to it. Just slightly different. And both palettes go on beautifully. So you can see this one, the Charlotte color is definitely has a bit more of a subtle shimmer to it. Not sparkle, like a satiny sheen. So next I am going to use this really light kind of camel color as my transition shade. And I'm going to use my Sigma, what is this called? A blending brush. I'm actually going to use this. And I'm just going to go outside here. Just nice little bit of a start. And I just do it on the outer V. And I always go up a little bit higher than my actual socket line because I have hooded eyes. And so I just want to lift that. So you can see it just blends so beautifully. As a beginner, just going in with a little bit more. As a beginner, these are so easy to use. And I just like how it's just all mapped out for me. So in the Charlotte palette, there isn't actually a transition shade. So I'm just going to follow her, how she says to do it. She does prime, then enhance. So I'm going to go in with this burgundy color right away. And I'm also going to use the same Sigma brush. This is a clean one. And I'm just going to go in that outside. So they are similar kind of in shades, but I think, and I probably will end up with a very similar look, but they are very different palettes. But as far as like how they work, they're both beautiful. Easy to use, blend beautifully, no fallout, no issues. Work really well on mature skin. They don't emphasize texture or wrinkles and crow's feet and all that. So as you can see, it's totally different. But as I go in, because I'm going to go into the burgundy now in the Tom Ford. So I'm going to go in with that shade, and then I'm just going to deepen this up here. And I'm going to use that same Sigma brush that I used with the transition color. And I'm just going to deepen that out. So now can kind of get a bit of a similarity in looks. I'm just going to deepen that up. So it's definitely a nice, warm, plummy color, perfect for fall. That's why I'm wearing this burgundy sweater, because I thought it would go nicely. So you can see the tone is different. This has a bit more of a reddish burgundy. This one seems a little bit more plummy. And I'm gonna now go back to the Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm gonna use this dark brown, and this one is a little bit shimmery, so it isn't a total matte. And I'm gonna use that same Sigma again. And I'm just gonna deepen that corner. This is her smoke shade. And then now I'm gonna go back into my Tom Ford, and I'm gonna use that darker chocolate, and this is totally matte. And I am going to just deepen out this corner. So it is very, very similar. I mean, if I was wearing both the same, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference from day to day if I had worn one the day before the other. But I am going to finish the look and also use that pop color, so that will definitely change the whole look. So I am now going into the pop, which is this sparkly. Now normally I don't really wear these. I don't really care for sparkle on my lids. I mean, maybe for a night out, but for the most part I don't really like these. I know she came out with a palette that was just these shimmers. If I was to get a shimmery thing, I would probably get something like this, because it's very subtle. Like I've always keep saying, Charlotte Tilbury does mature skin so well. Now I'm going to go back into this white, and I'm just going to brighten up this center a little bit. There we go. Just to make it a little bit brighter. And then I am going to align my eyes with the really dark color. And I'm just using the other end of the IT Cosmetics brush and just deepen the lash line. I probably could use this wet, but I'm just gonna do it dry for today just to show you guys. And there's no fallout. So I've just deepened up the lash line a little. And now I'm going to go under the eye, and I'm going to use this lightest color, and I'm just going to smoke it out underneath. And then I'm just going to deepen it a bit, but I'm going to use the burgundy and just do the corner and kind of brush up. And then I'm going to finish up the look on the Charlotte Tilbury eye. And again, I apologize, my eyes are totally different. Shape, size, you name it. But what can I do? So I'm going to line with the dark brown. And I'm just going to deepen up the lash line. Now this side I have a bit of fallout. Can you guys see that? in this eye, there's 0. So this one did drop a little. There we go. And I'm just going to go underneath very, very lightly with the dark brown. And do her cat eye, haha. And then I'm just going to kind of blend it all a little. Kind of went a bit heavy there. I'm going to use my, sorry, bear with me, my e.l.f. fixing pen. Here it is. If you haven't tried one of these, they're like a Tide pen for your eyes. So if you kind of go a little bit heavy-handed with eyeliner, eyeshadow, you can just tidy it up. And it's from e.l.f., so it's really affordable. I'm going to clean up the fallout with concealer. But yeah, so I've just tidied up that because it kind of went a little bit overboard. So I'm just going to blend. I might add a little bit more of that pop. There we go. So that is the 2 eyeshadows. They're not totally different. If I didn't do this pop on top, I think they would look very, very similar if you're trying to decide between the 2. And to not have both. I mean, I probably didn't need both. I mean, I know I definitely didn't need both, but I did want to try this Cocoa Mirage because I'd heard so much about it, and it is an all matte palette. However, the burgundy has a slight kind of satiny, so I am going to insert swatches and everything so you guys can see side by side. But, you know, they're very, very similar. If I had to choose, I think I would go for this one only because I like this all over lid color more than this pure white, and this one's a little bit less expensive. I really enjoy Charlotte Tilbury, although kind of looking at it, I would only be using 3 of these shades because I don't like these pops. So yeah, I mean, they're both lovely. So that's kind of my roundabout answer, I guess. So I'm going to finish up my eyes. I'll put mascara and all that kind of stuff and tidy up this fallout, and I'll come back to you guys and we can do some blush together and some lip. Okay, so I finished with some mascara and that's it. I just, now when I was putting on my mascara and looking, so the looks are very, very similar. If I'd gone in a little bit heavier with the burgundy on this side and skipped the pop, I think they would be very, very similar. And when I was doing the makeup, I said I probably would pick the Charlotte Tilbury because it was a little bit less of a price point, and I kind of like that bit of satiny shimmer as opposed to the solid matte. But now that my makeup, well, my eye makeup is complete, I'm leaning towards the matte. I think the matte looks a lot better on mature eyes. So that's kind of my final thought. I know this pop color is throwing me off because I really don't like those. I don't like that shimmer glittery stuff on me. But even so, if you kind of see, this one definitely has a lot more sheen and just doesn't do mature eyes any favors. So anyway, let's do a little bit of blush. I don't have a lot of plummy colored blushes, so I pulled out this Laura Mercier baked blush. It's called Ritual Baked Blush Bronze. And let's go in with that. It's just kind of a swirled color. I don't wear it very often because I don't often do these plummy looks, and I think this is even too brown. I need a plummy colored blush. Anyway, good enough. And you guys won't believe it, but I think I'm going to put on this Pat McGrath Blitztrance and the dark one. This one is called Nude Flesh. Sorry, I have a magnifying glass. Flesh Fatale. This was the darker one of the two. If you haven't seen my video on these Blitztrance lipsticks, I'll link it below. This one I just thought was way too dark for me. It was totally out of my comfort zone, but everyone was saying they just loved it on me, and I think it'll work with this look. So just so you know, I always put on MAC Prep and Prime Lip Erase before all my lipsticks, because my lips are super pigmented, and I find that when I put a lipstick on top, it totally changes the color because it's mixing with my super, super dark lips, and then they end up being a totally different color. So I like a blank canvas. And if you're new to my channel, this color is totally out of my comfort zone. I wear peaches, like this is even dark. So, but all my subscribers have just been so positive and encouraging, and it's got me to step out of my comfort zone and try new makeup and new colors. And these lipsticks are so nice. They're sparkly. They're not super thick or heavy. That is pretty dark, but so that is the final look. Let's zoom out, please. So that's the final look. They do look pretty similar. I think if I go out today, it should be okay. Maybe I'll put some pop on this side just so I look a little bit more balanced. But anyway, that's the final look, and I think my final thoughts are I would take the Tom Ford over the Charlotte Tilbury, because I think this full matte just looks really good on mature eyes. It doesn't emphasize texture, wrinkles, nothing, and I think it just kind of makes my eyes open. I know it's difficult because this eye is so different, and this one's already so closed, so I'm not comparing apples to apples, but I kind of know my own eyes and skin and all that kind of stuff, and I think the full matte is definitely better for me with my mature eyes. So thank you so much for joining me today, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button, and don't forget the notification bell so you stay up to date with all my latest videos. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye!